plaintiff, Alexandria Rivera, dated the defendant's nephew, and they have a son together. Alexandria claims the defendant is an obnoxious drunk and a scam artist, and she's suing him today for damaged property, the cost of appliances, and a loan office fee. Defendants Brian Oddie and his fiancée Melissa Fodrell say Alexandria uses her son as a pawn, and Brian hasn't even seen the child in over a year because Alexandria is holding a grudge. Brian and Melissa deny owing Alexandria for anything.
Start with you.
Okay, I met Brian in 2012 when I was dating his nephew, and we had a son together. And unfortunately, that's how he was brought into my life, was through them. Brian is a obnoxious drunk. He lies a lot. He is a scam artist. And none of his family talks to him because of that.
It's not true.
Did you find all that out?
Actually, recently, his sister, which is my son's
You
grandmother.
found that out recently?
Yes.
All right. You want to give some testimonies?
Yep.
She said all these dirty things about you she just learned.
Yes, sir.
You want to give me some background?
Yes, sir. Alex does had a baby with my nephew when they were 15 years old. She's very manipulative. She loves to play the victim. She uses her son as a pawn to get people to perform the way that she wants them to perform. I haven't seen my great nephew in over a year to date now because of the grudges that she holds.
Why does she hold grudges?
For what she's suing me for, I told her and her now husband, at the time boyfriend, 24-year-old boyfriend when she was 17, had made plans because they were pregnant to move my great nephew to Texas. I distraught my nephew, so I offered to sell them my home at a third less than what it appraised for, as a means of trying to keep my nephew in an active role in his son's life. I look at my nephew like he's my own son. I agreed to sell her now husband, at the time boyfriend, my home, and it had a time expiration date of May 20, 2015. And all this transpired when I decided that I wasn't going to deal with these people anymore. It was June 19 of 2015.
All right, so let me allow her to tell me what transpired. Ma'am?
Okay, we were purchasing a home from Brian when we found out that I was pregnant. And when all that happened, we have the purchase agreement right here.
Let me see it, please.
That's not true, Your Honor. She knew she was pregnant before the purchase agreement was made.
Go ahead.
And when all that happened, the purchase agreement was signed, everything was going through with the loan and everything. As it states in there that the house will be furnished with stove, refrigerator, washer, and dryer. We didn't really care for the stove and refrigerator that came furnished in the home.
It says in this purchase agreement?
Yes, it is.
The property will come furnished with a stove, refrigerator, washer, and dryer. Go ahead.
And my husband and I didn't really care for the appliances that were in the home, so we thought, you know, we have a little leftover money, let's go ahead and buy our own. It is our first house. And so my mom had a friend that was selling appliances, and we had bought them from her, which I have the receipt.
That's not true, Your Honor.
How do you know whether she bought her appliances?
Because I was there, Your Honor.
You were where?
I was with her when it's her aunt's home.
Oh, you said it didn't happen. So what do you mean you were with her?
No, sir,
She said she bought some appliances. You said, that's not true, Your Honor. I said, how do you know she didn't buy any appliances? You said, because I was there with her.
Sorry, sir.
What do you want to show me?
I have the receipt right here.
And this is $2,000 in cash. GE stainless steel refrigerator and stove for $2,000. All right. And you're saying this to say what? This is evidence that you purchased those
yes,
two
that
things?
I purchased it. And at the time, yes, Brian did help us move the appliances to his house. I could not store them at my mother's house. There was barely enough room for me and my child at the time. So we asked if we can move the appliances to his house to store it until
the newly purchased
we closed.
appliances.
Yes, until we closed on his house, and he agreed with that. Well, on...
When was this? The agreement to store the things there?
When I bought them.
Was the house occupied? Were they living in it? Or he?
Yes, they were.
All right, so you wanted to keep them there from April 30th until June 9th?
Yes.
And what were they going to do with their washer and dryer? Do you know?
The washer and dryer was going to stay there, but the stove and refrigerator that they had, they were just going to
Okay. All right, so it was a relatively big house.
Yes.
All right, could fit 2 stoves and 2 refrigerators.
Plaintiff Alexandria Rivera has a child with the defendant's nephew, and the defendants claim Alexandria often uses her son as a pawn when she's angry.
Okay, and sir, you wanted to tell me, dispute something about the purchase?
Yes, sir.
And what else?
I told them that I only have a 1,200 square foot home. I told them that it wasn't possible to store a stove and refrigerator in my house with my stove and refrigerator. Well, they wanted to
Is
take...
that about true? 1,200 square feet?
Yes, that's right. But
You thought that was a big house? What's funny?
at the time.
What's funny? It ain't gonna be funny when I throw this case out. You tell me this man had a big house, 1,200 square feet, and you wanna put in your refrigerator, your stove, in a location that he already has his own refrigerator and his own stove. Go ahead, sir.
Sir, it was May 12th, on or about, when they called me to find out if I had the correct tools to take apart the side-by-side refrigerator doors. I had an injured back at the time, so I was barely able to drive a stick shift. But I went over there anyhow to help, and I brought them tools. I showed up. I didn't have the correct tools, so I had to make another trip. And by the time I got home, they'd cut the water line and already had it loaded up in there. I never touched these appliances.
So they did remove yours prior to...
No, they did not. They brought it over and stored it outside of my home.
Brought their new ones
Correct.
over.
In pieces, stored it outside. I told them, I said, the only way you're gonna do this, I take no responsibility for appliances being stored outside. It was the rainiest June that we've had since 1871. And literally,
Now you lying.
I promise you, sir,
How you know?
because I got on the Farmer's Almanac before we came into court and I checked.
I could have swore 1872 was rainier.
1871.
It was sunny that day. Go ahead.
Sir. So I agreed to let them store it outside. I told them, I suggest that, at this point, I couldn't even physically throw a tarp over them for them. I suggested they do that. They said it was only going to be 8 days until they closed, which was tentatively was May 20th. And they left the doors off. It was in the elements for almost 6 weeks that it was outside. And when they were when I moved it, the pictures, the only time I moved that stuff was after all of the turmoil that went down. And I told them, I said, I'm not willing to deal with you people anymore. After I'm trying to do you nothing but a favor. I said,
What
come
happened
get your...
with the purchase?
He never could come up with the money.
So the deal was off, and you said, come and get your things.
Correct.
And did they?
Yes, sir. The very day I called them.
They came to get their things?
Yes, sir.
All right, so is that true? You tell me the difference in what he's saying regarding the property.
He did help us move them. We don't have a pickup truck to move them, and he was the only one that had a pickup at the time.
Okay.
So they used
But I
their
do have
grandfathers.
messages
Let's see
from
it.
me and Lisa going back and forth.
All right, let's get to the agreement to keep 2 stoves and 2 refrigerators in there. He agreed to that?
No, sir. The agreement
the
was
agreement?
that his appliances, the door handle was missing off of it. They were, not up to date and whatever. The agreement was that he swapped ours in and put his out on the deck, since they were basically ours when we purchased the home.
He would do it.
Yes.
Thought you all moved it together.
No, we did, but at the
So
time,
why wouldn't we do it instead of he do it?
because at the time that's what we had agreed upon, because I had an
but that
ultrasound.
doesn't make sense to make him do something by himself.
We had it on a dolly and ready to go inside.
So why'd you make him do it by himself, though?
He said that he would because I had an ultrasound to go to and my husband had work.
You should have waited to take it over there when you and your husband had time to move it in. You had time to drop it off.
He had to get his appliances out
I'm
first.
talking about, okay, so you had time to move them out when you came to drop it off.
Yes, but he wasn't willing to get all of his food out before my ultrasound and move his appliances outside.
Oh, so you had to go to the ultrasound the same day that you delivered the things?
Yes.
Okay, and that 10 minutes it would have taken to take the food out would have prohibited you from getting your ultrasound in a timely manner, because that's all it takes is 10 minutes to get something out.
No,
Don't
sir.
talk to me like I'm stupid.
Plaintiff Alexandria Rivera has a child with the defendant's nephew, and the defendants claim Alexandria often uses her son as a pawn when she's angry.
Now, are you all able to close? If not, why?
We were able to close. Actually, the closing date was extended because the title company didn't have all of our papers.
You have that evidence that it was extended? Was the closing date extended?
No, sir.
All right, she's gonna show me evidence
This
that it was, she
the
says.
only thing that we
She's gonna
got
show
from
me
the
evidence
title
where it
company.
was, sir. No, I'm not looking through 30 pages. You find them.
Sir,
You find that statement. What do
Honor.
you have? Let's see it, daughter.
Okay.
sir, this is a
Don't
Facebook.
keep looking. Remember, you got the extension. Don't put it down because you thought I couldn't read 30 pages. You can. You're right, I can't, but you can.
Your Honor, that is
That's what you're gonna have to do to prove your case.
Your Honor, that's a Facebook message exchange between Alex and my fiance, where Alex is asking permission to come bring some boxes of her stuff that she has packed and store them on our porch, and she's just simply telling her that we don't have the room.
Can you not wait? We have to have somewhere to put our things.
Your Honor,
It's fine. So, they clearly tell you they can't even accommodate your boxes, ma'am. What is it? You have that extension?
It's not the extension.
It's not.
It was just the
Why
title
did you tell me
company.
that? You don't know? You thought you could hand me 30 pages and I would just take your word?
No, sir.
Your
Yeah, I
Honor.
know. Yes, you did. A lot of people do that. They say, well, I'll just hand him this 50-page document. He won't have time to look through that. He'll think what I gave him is authentic. No. No.
Your Honor, I have one more thing to add.
What
about
happened
the-
to their property?
Sir, it sat outside in the weather elements as they left it untouched for 6 weeks, and it developed algae, dirt.
And
That's it, sir.
it's still there?
No, sir, they came and got it on the 25th, the day that I told them. I have a picture. Her grandfather came
You
and
came
picked
and
up
got it?
Yes,
Same-
I have the messages up there.
And the loan office fee,
Yes.
how do they owe you for that?
From them backing out of the agreement
Okay. You weren't able to close June 9th because of what?
because we didn't have a paper trail and my grandmother was gifting us the $1,200.
Okay, so it was something you all did to cause your inability to close.
Yes, and
All right, well then you can't make him pay for your mistakes. You all breached the agreement, so he doesn't pay. With regard to the property, I'm not convinced that they agreed to move your refrigerator and stove into their 1,200 square foot home, which you claim was a big house, which I know you were misleading me then. Your claim is dismissed. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor.